Lucy, I want to start with you. I just want to say I loved your performance in this movie. I thought you were so funny and you have so many funny lines, but I also just really kind of loved the chemistry you had with like everybody in this movie pretty much. I thought it was incredible. I'm just kind of wondering if you can tell me how much fun was it being able to play someone like this? And also just kind of in terms of the comedy, I'm just kind of curious if there was any like improv in these scenes when you have with so many different actors.
First of all, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you liked the movie. We had such a great time filming it. Um, I mean, Eva's unhinged. She's a little like left of center, so I had a lot of fun playing her. Um, I, I just loved the idea of someone who was kind of settling in her life for a decade and then really deciding that she wants more for her life. So she has this like outside of the serial killer murder mystery, she has this like really beautiful arc of a woman, you know, taking her power back, and she somehow finds her power through this insane journey of trying to prove her friends wrong that she's not dating a serial killer. But um I forgot the other part of the question. Oh, improv. Yes, we did a lot of improv.
So
Laura
much improv.
encouraged us to do that, and I it was kind of the first movie where I'd ever explored a lot of improv, and I feel like a lot of our one-liners were just kind of on the fly.
You're
But
so good at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
really are. Yeah.
thanks, guys.
I think, I mean, like, obviously we
I
knew Lucy was very talented and had such range. I don't think I knew how good she was at improv. And it was like so many of the lines made it in the movie. And we spent like the great thing is like the first take would be like as scripted, the second take would be like, let's make it a little scary. And then the third take would be like, let's just have a really fun one and find where we can build on the comedy, both in like performance blocking and dialogue. And we would just push it. I mean, the whole like the thing about book club.
I
That
know. I
was
was like, we had so many one-liners that unfortunately didn't make the cut.
yeah.
We have this whole like C storyline about a neighbor who has a book club, and Eva's like so sorry that she can't make book club. But anyway, it didn't make the cut. There's a lot of lines that got cut about the ant farm.
Oh, yeah.
I love the ant. Some of the ant farm stuff made it, but yeah, we had such a good time, and I think like the blending of genres with this movie is what made it so fun, because visually it looks very scary and it's like shot like a thriller, but obviously there's so much physical comedy, and had such a good time with Jenny. And but that was what made this script stand out to me, is that it was a marriage between these two
Sure,
genres.
sure, totally. And I think that fun totally translates to I was having so much fun watching it and watching you guys, so I think it all worked out so great. So great.
Oh, thanks.
Virginia, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, ever since Runaways too, and I've loved everything I've seen you in since then. And this character you're playing here is really fun because I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory, but there's a lot of different sides there. You know, it's a murder mystery, everyone's a suspect, and it's fun kind of watching you explore that. I'm just kind of curious, when you like got this script for the first time and you were reading it through, what kind of aspect of this character were you kind of most excited to like play and lean into?
You know, I love any excuse to get really weird, and Kelly gave me an excuse to get really weird and crazy in so many different levels. And it just felt like something I hadn't had the opportunity to do before, and then be a part of a movie that was doing some really fun genre blending, which I really enjoy. But Kelly, you know, she just the sanctity of marriage. Like it's her obsession, and her friend is her obsession, and it was just really fun to create this character and still try to find to ground her and understand why she's doing the things that she's doing. But just a really fun challenge as an actor to sort of be blending all of these different things and then still finding a way to ground her.
Sure. No, totally, totally. I loved all of that. And Laura, kind of on the same kind of line there. One thing I loved about this movie was the modern day setting. I mean, there's like some elements of like Hitchcock, and like I was reminded a lot of Vertigo throughout this, just like, oh, you don't know who you're really dating. But I loved how you kind of like worked it into modern day, and there's a lot to, I think you say about just like modern day dating and dating apps and that whole thing. I'm wondering if you can just tell me a little bit about kind of what you're hoping for people to take away from F, Marry, Kill in that aspect, kind of what the inspiration for putting it in this time period was.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about any time you want to get a little messaging across is like do it with comedy, because then you don't, you can kind of sneak it in. And I think there's an element of like, there's, you know, real risks in dating, but also like from a self-deprecating standpoint as women, we also can be paranoid because we watch nonstop true crime stuff. And then I'm like, why am I scared of home invasion? It's like, well, I listen to podcasts about crime till I fall asleep at night. So I think like I wanted to, there's commentary in there. There's commentary on like female friendships. There's commentary on dating apps and risks and true crime and paranoia. And I think the best way to package all that is with comedy. And then it was important to me that the movie look like a thriller. Like Rear Window, Vertigo was definitely an inspiration. The color palette was very Hitchcock, but then with a modern spin, which is very Fincher. So that allowed us to push the comedy as much as we could, because I knew that nobody would forget it was a thriller because the visual was doing that work, so that we could really have fun with the comedy.